Hey travelers, welcome back to the channel. In this video of Traveler's Corner, we feature Innocents Abroad, Bob and Holly. With all their travel behind them, let's find out all about them. Bob and Holly, thank you so much for joining me here on Traveler's Corner.
Of course,
Thanks
nice to see you.
Now, tell my viewers just a little bit about yourselves and your channel.
Well, we've been traveling for almost 30 years now. And Bob's always filmed our vacations. Just, he had the big camera way back when and just always wanted to document what we did. And so as time went on, things got a little more compact and easier to do. And we started actually using YouTube as a source of, planning our trips. What do we want to see in a specific location? And there was a couple of times where we found like a hole where we were going on Pacific Princess and we wanted to see what the ship was like because it was a smaller ship and we couldn't find anything out there. So I said, well, here's a good opportunity. You're going to film it anyway. Why don't you go ahead and put it on YouTube for others' reference? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it got started.
What she said. The channel's purpose is to show travel to others, but I guess you would say everybody may have a different style. For us, it's vacation first, but you take that personal vacation out of the equation, i.e. we generally don't go on a trip just to film something. Mm-hmm. You take that out of the equation, we want to have a story told. So 4K quality, good angles, good editing, I hope, or a lot of time in post-production fixing it.
Yes.
But not just, I want the viewer to be able to say, that was filmed rather well, whether they're interested in the subject or not. Mm-hmm. So the storytelling visually is important. That's kind of what we want to do. And there's the little history bits in there. I think that's our thing, is throw in a little facts here and there without being too dry.
Amazing, amazing. So now for the hard-hitting question here. Why do you travel?
Not to put too fine a point on it, Mark Twain said it best, it really is impossible to maintain prejudices if you get out of your own little corner of the world. Mm-hmm. So that's why, it just to engage with other cultures. And it could be a soccer match, it could be food, it could be taking a picture of a 15th century clock or something. It's not everything from an American point of view, at least this one, is red, white, and blue. So 180 something other countries. What are they like? What are the people like? And what can we learn? What can we teach? That sort of thing. So getting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see how other people do things. Our way isn't the only way. And just being around people's interaction, going to the markets, just seeing how people are in their environment is interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And I want to see that firsthand.
Except for the part where the British put mayonnaise on their French fries or chips. I don't need to see that.
That I don't understand, because we do it here as well in Canada. I don't understand it, but to each their own. So my next question, what is your favorite way to travel and why?
Cruising, because I know what she was probably going to say, but cruising just because as a sailor, I like being at sea, and it's just the sunsets, sunrises, and the total chill vibe of being underway with an open ocean. I quite like it.
Yeah, cruising definitely, I think, is the easiest way to travel.
Mm-hmm.
You put all your stuff in your cabin and it takes you from place to place. They offer what they think is the highlights of those areas if you don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just an easy and quick way to see a lot. And second most, I think train travel is kind of the same way, where you can sit back and actually see things between airports. I mean, so many times you get on an airplane, you go to a city and you see that city, you see nothing in between. I think train travel is also a very interesting thing for me. You see those kind of backwoods areas that you ordinarily wouldn't see, even if you were traveling by car.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. So, with all your travel behind you, what has been your favorite country to visit and why?
England, but ask me again in December. If
Okay.
you do another one, if you do another one of these.
All right.
To date, England, there's just a lot of history. There's obviously no language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
There are other countries we've been very blessed to see, but on the whole, England's just easier to get around, and there's still a lot to explore.
Yeah, we find ourselves going back there quite often, and we always find something new to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the history aspect I think is pretty high on our interest list. So, yeah, we're still exploring England.
Now, we talked about country, but what's been your favorite place to visit, and why?
I have to say, again, ask me in December, but right now is either London or Santorini. Probably London. There's just more to do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, actually, even though I do love England, I think the one place that I just always find myself enjoying quite a bit is Venice. It's, the canals and just all the old crusty buildings, and you just know that so much went on in those little back alley waterways, and just the history behind it. I find it magical. Even the little tchotchke, souvenir stands along the canals, and
Oh, yes.
people eating pizza in a cafe outside. I just really enjoy that.
Amazing. So, again, with all your travel behind you, what has been your most favorite thing you have done?
I think for me, landing on the glacier in Alaska was very unique. Something that not many people do.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Alaska and you see the gorgeous, glaciers from afar usually, but landing on it and getting to touch it and walk around on it, and that was just something that I think I'll always remember.
I think, and it's a lot more of a somber reason, but Spinalonga, an island in Greece, was a former leper colony in the 1800s and early 1900s, and it's desolate. It's maintained as a tourist attraction and a remembrance center, but walking around that for a couple of hours this past August or September, that was my favorite. It's real history.
So, when you travel, do you eat local?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And what has been your most favorite thing you've eaten on your travels?
Oh, she already stole mine. Pizza in Venice, simply because of everything that entails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, we went to India, and even though it was a little scary, we did eat street food.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scary for you.
But it was phenomenal. I mean, there was a guy sitting on the ground with this, heat underneath this boiling pot of oil, frying samosas, and they were just coming right out of the pot, and you take this yummy, spicy, fragrant thing, and just
and
it was just
fresh chai tea in a clay pot
Yeah.
out of the same place.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was an experience.
yeah, I would say so. So, what is your dream location that you would like to travel to?
Well, that's December. Having been scheduled for December of 20 and December of 21, and it'll be obvious why those were canceled. We're back on with a trip to Antarctica and South Georgia Island in December with Seabourn, and we had been scheduled with them 2 years ago, scheduled with Silver Sea this year. They all got canceled at the last minute, so things, fingers crossed, hopefully that still happens. But
Third time's a charm.
third time's a charm. So we're back on a new ship from Seabourn. Probably been booked since September, I guess, and we're really anxious to go.
That would be amazing to see the videos from that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Where would you like to travel back to?
Where wouldn't we like to travel back to? Would be more appropriate question.
You go first.
Boy, I would like to do some more Scandinavia. We were in Scandinavia. It's been about 10 years ago. It was just, I would like to explore some of the more outlying areas of it. You go on a cruise, you go to the major highlight areas, but
Yes.
to go out and see a little bit beyond that.
Mhm.
We saw the highlights, so I like to go back and see what else is there to offer in Scandinavia. It was just very picturesque, and I just enjoyed that area of the world.
What are you doing in 5 weeks? I don't know when this is going to
This
air.
is a new one though, so where we're going is new for us.
Oh, true enough. To go back to, Santorini and Rhodes. I love the Greek Isles. Absolutely love it. So I'll go back anytime I get the chance to go.
Good, good. So, with all your travel behind you, what tips could you give to fellow travelers or people that want to travel?
For me, I think you need to give yourself the time to put the camera down, go find a park bench or a cafe, and just sit and be in the moment. Observe what is going on around you, see the interaction with the locals. Just be in that moment. There's so many times you want to make sure you get to this landmark or that tour or this, and you're capturing all the pictures you possibly can, or in Bob's case, videoing every step of the way, which is important. I mean, we enjoy that, but you also have to give yourself the time to enjoy where you are. So that would probably be my biggest tip, is just make sure you take a breather, even if it's just sitting in a park.
Travel with humility, and as cliche as that may sound, leave your prejudices, however minor they may be, at home. When you go abroad, if somebody does something a different way, cultures are going to be different. They may be far more lax, they may be more rigid, they're simply going to be different. And be respectful and interested in where you are going without having to run to the nearest comfort food of KFC or McDonald's or wherever you come from. That's a norm. Even if trying local foods isn't your thing, try it anyway, and just be an ambassador. Deserve your own passport.
Amazing. Yeah, I 100% agree with both of you with those tips. Those are amazing. Bob and Holly, thank you so much for joining me today on Traveler's Corner here. Please let every single one of us know where we can find you.
It's Innocents Abroad is the name of the channel, and it's 96% cruising and a tiny little bit of hotels that were associated with a cruise, pre or post. And there's a little bit of train on there to train trips around America, but largely cruising. But it's just Innocents Abroad, just like it sounds, no space, and that's us. Hope people enjoy.
Wow, that is so amazing. I love how much travel they have done, and they have some amazing series on their YouTube channel. Why don't you head down below to the description and check them out. And if you haven't yet, give them a subscribe. And we'll see you next time here on Nick Tours.